Good evening in these extraordinary times. Welcome to the zoning board meeting of February 24th. First off, we have a request for an adjournment. That's appeal number 0929, Carl McVeigh. They've asked for an adjournment to March 24th. Do I hear a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, Mr. Whitmire.
Aye.
Mrs. Zawiski.
Aye.
Mr. Gazillo.
Aye.
Mr. Bonds.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Bonds. So, I vote aye too, so we adjourn those folks until the 24th of March. All right, the young lady, you got the floor.
Appeal 2022-003, Deborah Rogers, 60 Hidden Acres Path, Wading River, tax map number 696-114.3, RB80 zoning, for variances and or relief from Chapter 301, Section 31, where lot coverage is 37.9% and maximum permitted is 15%.
Is that you?
You gotta go through my...
You're up.
You're welcome.
Good evening.
Now, if you kindly raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Kindly state your name and your address.
My name is Michael Rogers, and my address is 60 Hidden Acres Path, Wading River, New York.
And that's a long path, by the way.
That's a long road.
Don't forget anything at the grocery store.
True. True.
Go ahead, you have the floor. Let's see what you want to do, what's happened.
What happened? We recently found out through a survey that we were over on lot coverage. We weren't aware of that at the time. When we purchased this house in 2005, it had a pretty extensive concrete materials or path around the swimming pool that was installed prior to us buying the house, and then a large patio and a walkway to the large patio. Over time, it disintegrated a bit and became a bit of a safety hazard. We decided we were going to change it and put pavers in. So we took all the concrete out, we added pavers in its place, and we also added a 12 by 14 gazebo type patio also to it. So that was added to whatever was existing. That was done approximately 2 years ago. We had a survey done about 3 months ago, and that's when we found out that we had this issue. And we're looking to see if it's possible to get relief of that.
Well, you came to the right place.
Came to the right place.
Hopefully. Okay. Any board members have any questions?
I have no problem.
Anyone? Leroy, you have anything to say?
He's a
No, Mr. Chairman, I have to recuse myself.
Oh, you have to accuse yourself. Okay. Recuse. All right. Well, I had no problem with that. I see there were workmen there today, and continue on. Well, best of luck, and let's see where it goes. Who has a reading?
I guess I have it. I move the appeal of Deborah Rogers, 60 Hidden Acres Path, Wading River, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-96-1-14.3, RB80 zoning for variance and relief from Chapter 301, Section 31, where lot coverage is 37.9% and maximum permitted is 15%. Be granted in accordance with the application and sketches with amendments thereto, if any, as filled with the building inspector.
Second.
All right, I have a second. Mr. Barnes?
He's-
Recused.
Yeah, that's right, sorry. Mr. Gazillo?
Aye.
Mr. Whitmire?
Aye.
Mr. Zawiski?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So your trip out here was worth the ride.
Thank you very much.
Glad you made it, and
Be well.
in about 2 weeks from now, you get all the paperwork and take it
Have
from
a good evening. Thank
Take
you.
care of
you.
yourself.
Quite well.
Appeal 2021-058, Fernando Rodriguez, 1530 North Country Road, Wading River, tax map number 65421, RB80 zoning, for variances and or relief from Chapter 301, Section 231A, where proposed on-site parking is 7 stalls and required is 9 stalls.
And who's to be representing here?
I am, Mr. Chairman, Fernando Rodriguez.
Okay, if you kindly raise your right, are you an attorney?
No, I'm not. I'm the agent for the.
Then you
for the-
definitely raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name and your address.
41 Douglas Court, Hampton Bays, New York.
Okay. State your case.
Well, we are asking for a variance. We're supposed to have 9 parking spots on our lot, but we can only fit 7. 6 regular ones and 1 handicapped parking spot. So we're asking for the variance.
Okay? Anybody have any problems with this one?
So just a question. So I believe the variance is coming about because you're enclosing a space that's currently covered?
Yes, correct. We're putting on a small 184, or we're asking to put on a small 184 square foot addition to connect both sides of the building, so it makes it easier for the owner and his employees to go from one side of the building to the other. It's an insurance agency, and they have offices on both sides, so they have to constantly go back and forth. So the addition that we're putting on, the 184 square feet of addition, will be mostly storage space and a small walkway or a small hallway to connect both buildings.
Well, I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to put my jacket on every time I had to walk between buildings, but, okay.
That's what's been happening, and Mr. Visco, who is the owner, has lost a few employees because of that. Unfortunately, they don't want to, they don't want to cross, especially in the winter. They don't want to cross in the cold, and they feel it's a hassle to put on your jacket every time they have to go, and they're constantly going back and forth
Okay.
to their business.
You aware about it's an additional $2,000 for each space?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we are,
Okay,
and the owner is willing to pay. Yes.
all right. Anybody have a problem with this? Anyone out there on Zoom or? Nobody? Let's have a reading.
Aye. Respectfully, Mr. Chairman, I move that the appeal of Fernando Rodriguez, 1530 North Country Road, Wading River, SCTM number 600-54-2-1, RB80 zoning for variances and/or relief from Chapter 301, Section 231A, where proposed on-site parking is 7 stalls and required is 9 stalls, be approved pursuant to the Riverhead Town Code, Chapter 105-8C, Sub 5, Sub E, like in Edward. The amount of the per space sum required to be paid to the town for each and every space for which a variance is granted shall be $2,000 per space, or such other amount as the town board may hereafter fix by resolution of the town board, which shall be reviewed and fixed again from time to time as circumstances warrant. Therefore, relief of 2 parking spaces shall require a fee of $4,000 prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. This fee may be modified or waived only by town board resolution. This is granted in accordance with the applications and sketches with amendments thereto, if any, as fixed with the building inspector.
I second.
All right, Mr. Gazillo,
Aye.
Mr. Barnes,
Aye.
Mr. Whitmire,
Aye.
Mrs. Zawiski,
Aye.
and I vote aye. So your appeal has been granted. Best of luck.
Thank you so much, members of the board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you.
Appeal 2022-002, Hammer Brothers Enterprises, 48 3rd Street, Riverhead, tax map number 600-128-516, PC4 zoning, for variances and/or relief from Chapter 301, Section 231E3, where two-way drive aisle is 20 feet and minimum required is 24 feet, and Section 154A, where proposed rear yard setback is 11.7 feet and minimum required is 25 feet.
This will be heard. Step up.
Good evening, Mr.
Good
Chairman.
evening.
Ready?
Right up to the microphone. Well, if you have paperwork for us, sure.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up some paper.
Sure. Yeah, just fix that microphone, Ray, so we can hear you. There you
Good evening.
go. Okay,
You can raise it.
raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Just state your name and your address.
My name's Raven Dickhoff, 60 Idle Lane, Aquabog. I'm here tonight to represent Hammer Brothers Enterprises. I am the builder for that company, and I also manage their real estate, so after this project was built, I would stay on and also manage the rental properties for them. We purchased the property at 48 3rd Street. It was a derelict building. It was actually a drug den. It was covered in gang graffiti, blah, blah, blah. We went to the Landmarks Preservation Committee. We asked their permission to to demolish the building because it is in the historic district. After several meetings, we went back and forth with designs with them. Their policy is that they have to approve our design prior to allowing us or giving us the approval to move forward with a demolition. We came to an agreement. They were a great help. They were a real asset putting this together. So they're happy, we're happy. We did get our demolition permit, and we moved forward and took the building down. So now we're here tonight asking for this relief so we can go forward and build our 4-unit apartment complex. I have here tonight on Zoom is our attorney, Rachel Davey, and the architect, Martin Sanluski. So I think Rachel would like to say a few things to you now, if possible.
Gotta be sworn in.
Were you able to get rid of the ghost of the Flanagans, or are they still haunt the place?
No, they're still there.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still there. They actually helped with the demo, though.
I'm sure they did. All right, who else wants to speak?
Good evening, Rachel Davey.
Please, if you raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name and your address.
Rachel Davey, 55 Railroad Avenue, Center Moriches, New York, 11934.
Okay, Rachel, you have the floor.
Thank you. We're proposing to construct a 4-unit townhouse composing of 2 stories. The footprint of the building, approximately 2,040 square feet, and floor area of 4,116 feet. And we're also requesting the related site improvements, including parking, lighting, landscaping, storm water management systems, and a new sanitary and water connections in connection with our permit request. Tonight, we're asking for relief for the board regarding the drive aisle. The code requires a 24-foot drive aisle. We're requesting a 20-foot drive aisle, as well as setbacks for the rear yard, we have 11.7 feet, and the minimum required is 25 feet. The property abuts the railroad tracks, the Long Island Railroad, and across the street, we have a very similar situation where the board may be familiar with a project that went before the appeals board last year in February for a similar townhouse setup, where they asked for relief from the board for a one-way drive aisle of 13 feet as opposed to the 24 feet. And they also asked for a side yard setback for 7 feet as opposed to the 10 feet. So our project, I think, is very beneficial to the neighborhood. It'll provide some affordable housing. It'll be managed by a landlord to ensure that it's properly maintained and secured, and all good things for that area of town. In addition, it's in substantial conformance with the existing neighborhood, as well as fits the character of the neighborhood. And so in the appeals process for Appeal 2020-054 for the property known as 45 3rd Street, which is situate across the street from our property, the zoning board found that the health, safety, and welfare of the community was not affected by granting the variances that were requested in that application. And very similarly situated to ours, our proposed dwelling, we believe, does not impact the neighborhood. It's consistent with the character of the neighborhood. It'll propose an improvement. The variance is not substantial. In fact, in our case, it's one-dimensional, where we're going to maintain the drive aisle at 20 feet as opposed to 13 feet in the other property across the street, which will result in significantly more room for the tenants of the property. And it'll also result, as mentioned, in improvement to the neighborhood. There's no alternative for achieving the purposes that we're seeking. I believe that the design plan is to request the minimal variances required for the project while keeping in conformance with town code, especially in connection with the parking codes. And there's no significant environmental impact nor impairment for granting the relief requested for these variances, and it'll maintain the reasonable and orderly development of the surrounding area as well. And lastly, the permitted use and consistent, it's permitted use, this townhouse is as of right, consistent with the character of the neighborhood, and, despite the fact that it's a townhome, I think, as mentioned, that's preferable in this specific area as it will allow the town to provide affordable housing with proper parking for the multi-unit dwellings.
Okay, Rachel, thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
Rachel? I'm
Yes.
Otto Wickmeyer, in case you can't see my sign, but I have one question. The 11.7 feet from the building to the property line,
Yes.
does the MTA have anything as far as how many feet buildings should be away from the tracks? Do they have any rules or anything, or is that just a nonsense question?
I don't believe so, but I'll defer to Marty, our architect, who I believe is very prudent on that matter.
No, they do not. There is no setback from the MTA. That line is to the right-of-way, it's to our property line, it's the right-of-way to the MTA, and then their tracks are approximately about another 15 or 20 feet from that.
Well, if you have to get up for work, I can guarantee you the 6 o'clock train will get you out of bed. Yes, sir. State your name and raise your right hand first. Do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name your name and your address.
Good evening. Good evening. Martin Salusi, office is located at 215 Roanoke Avenue.
It must be the glasses that threw me off, Marty. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I just want, first off, this is actually one of the larger lots on Third Street. When we started the project, my client requested that we try to utilize a plan that included 6 units. And I knew that there was no way we were going to get 6 units with the parking requirement. I also happen to be the chairman of the Parking District Advisory Committee, and I really advised my client that, being involved with parking downtown and the need for it, I was really not in favor of presenting a design that did that. So we did draw it back to 4 units, which required the 6 spaces that we do have. As Ray had mentioned, we went through a lot with the historic board as well as the ARB. We've already been to them once. And we massaged the whole site plan. A couple of things of note. They asked us to keep the building further to the east, which we did, because the building east of this has a garage and is a bigger structure as opposed to the building to the west. So that they said that it met better the overall dimensional, pattern along the street. I would note that we are actually 5 feet larger in our front yard setback than per code. The setback is 15 feet to the building line, and the front porch is allowed to encroach into the 15 feet. We are going 15 feet to the front of the porch. That was at the request of the Historic Commission and the ARB, because it's more in keeping with the facade setbacks along that portion of Third Street. So it actually fits in better. It increases our variance requirement for the back, but it does fit in better. As to the railroad itself, I actually spent probably about 25% of my youth in this neighborhood because my grandparents lived on East Avenue. They were the second house north of the tracks. And the railroad is actually part of the fabric of this neighborhood. I know that firsthand. I remember when I was a kid, we used to go to the neighbor's house that was the first house north of the tracks on the east side, and the front door and porch was literally 10 feet from the tracks. So when us kids were on the porch and the train was coming, my mom would look out and say, "Hey kids, stay on the porch, train's coming." And it literally passed 10 feet away. But it's just part of the fabric of the neighborhood. It's all of the houses that are along the tracks are very close. Again, the railroad's part of their neighborhood. It comes through. And it's actually quite a fond memory I have, to be honest with you. With that said, we do think that the overall application does meet the requirements, and specifically, we were very strict on making sure we kept the parking. And not only with that, we meet both sidelines, so there's no impact on either neighbor. We are increased in the front to fit in with the neighborhood. Our only real setback is that one to the railroad and the driveway width is really just, it's not really required to be 25 because it's more residential in nature, and we feel that 20 feet is more than adequate. Thank you.
Was it the nickels, the quarters, or the pennies that you put on the tracks?
They were pennies.
Pennies?
We didn't have quarters back then. We were lucky if we had a penny.
How many parking spots do you have?
We have a total of 6.
6 parking
Six?
spots.
And 4 units?
Yeah, correct. And that is the code. The requirement is 1.5 cars per unit. So for the 4 units, it's 6 cars, and we do have the 6 cars including.
How you gonna divvy them up?
That's the one,
How you gonna divide them?
that's not coming, you're just. talking
First up,
about-
best dressed.
I have no problem.
Yeah, I have no problem.
No, I have some questions here. Marty? In the planning report that was submitted back on September 9th, 2021, they talked about variances in there. Approval of the site plan would require relief from the Riverhead Zoning Board of Appeals from several sections of the town code as follows. Proposed two-way drive aisle is 20 feet wide, minimum required is 24. Proposed parking stall, number 1 is 9 feet by 19, minimum required is 10 by, how were those addressed? Were those just recommendations, or what does that mean?
Well, what that means is that when we were going through the process, these were things that were being identified that we then reacted to with the revised plans. And we got to the point where we now have the current plan that's in front of you. So we've had a very good relationship with the ARB, the planning staff, who do a great job, as well as Mr. Wines and the historic group. So we've really massaged the plan to get it to the minimum variances required. That was a goal of ours, and I think we've achieved that.
Okay. Anyone else have anything else?
I don't know if that question. It's only 20 feet. Last question. The entrance is 20 feet wide, so that wasn't massaged because required is 24, right?
Correct.
So that doesn't meet the code then, right?
That is correct. We would note, though, however, that the actual maneuvering space, once you enter the site from the curb cut, then widens up to the legal 24 feet. So we actually have the maneuverability on the site for the full width. It's just the driveway, we felt in the residential area to keep it to 20 feet, one car in, one car out was more than adequate. And actually a little bit of a better appeal in terms of, impact on the neighborhood with having the narrower driveway. And it doesn't impede as much, as parking, again, is an issue even where you have parking on site, so it wouldn't impede any curbside parking, which is permitted along 3rd Street also.
Okay. You good? Danny, you're right?
Good, I'm ready to read.
Okay, let's see what kind of relationship you have with the zoning board. Let's have a reading.
Okay, on appeal number
Hold
2022,
on, whoop.
Public. Any comments from the
Oh,
public?
anyone else have anything to say about this? Nobody out there? Okay, thank you. Now you can do your reading.
okay. On appeal number 2022-002, I move that the appeal of Hammer Brother Enterprises, 48 3rd Street, Riverhead, Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-128-5-16 in DC4 zoning for variances and/or relief from Chapter 301, Section 231E3, where two-way drive aisle is 20 foot and minimum required is 24 foot, and Section 154A, where proposed rear yard setback is 11.7 foot, the minimum required is 20 foot. B, in accordance with the applications and sketches with amendments thereto, if any, filed with the building inspector.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Barnes?
Aye.
Mr. Gazillo?
Aye.
Mr. Whitmire?
Aye.
Mrs. Zawiski?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So your appeal's been granted. Best of luck. And that's it.
Thank you.
Do we hear a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So made.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You in favor? Yeah. Okay. Good night, Ken.
Take care of